The laughter hit first, sharp and careless, slicing through the bright morning air of the school courtyard like shattered glass. It wasn't the kind of laughter born from joy, but the kind that bruises, the kind that leaves marks no one can photograph. At precisely 9 o'clock during roll call under a sky washed clean by sunlight, a new teacher stood frozen while dozens of eyes watched him shrink in real time. In that moment, with the flag fluttering proudly above and birds chirping without concern, something quietly broke, and no one yet understood how deeply they would soon regret it. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of doing the right thing when it matters most, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Acts of Kindness. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that may be hurting. The new teacher's name was Arvind Halim, a man whose presence did not announce itself loudly. He arrived that morning dressed neatly, shoes polished though slightly worn, a sun-faded folder held close to his chest. The school grounds glowed with daytime energy, students lined in uneven rows, teachers standing with clipboards and practiced authority. Arvind had been introduced only minutes earlier, his name barely remembered before whispers started to ripple through the crowd. He looked different from the others, older than expected for a new hire, his posture reserved, his eyes thoughtful in a way that seemed out of place in a school buzzing with adolescent bravado. As roll call began, a group of senior students at the back noticed his quiet demeanor and mistook it for weakness. Their smirks grew bolder under the safety of numbers. Someone mimicked his stance, someone else exaggerated his careful walk. A backpack was nudged into his path, and when it brushed his leg, the laughter swelled. Teachers nearby hesitated, unsure whether to intervene or ignore what felt like harmless teasing. Arvind bent slightly, steadying himself, offering a polite smile that only fueled the cruelty. Under the open sun, surrounded by noise and movement, humiliation settled on him like a heavy cloak. What no one saw was how hard it was for Arvind to be standing there at all. The bright daylight masked the shadows of his past. Years earlier, he had left teaching after a tragedy that hollowed his confidence. A classroom accident, a student injury, an investigation that cleared him but never healed him. Since then, mornings had been battles, daylight a reminder of responsibility and risk. Accepting this new position had taken months of courage. Walking into that school courtyard was supposed to be a step toward redemption, not a public undoing. As the roll call continued, the bullying escalated. Fake applause followed his name. Someone loudly questioned whether he was lost. A paper airplane sailed past his shoulder. Arvind's ears burned, his chest tightened, yet he remained still. He remembered promises made to himself in the quiet of early mornings, promises to stay gentle, to not let bitterness define him. He focused on the warmth of the sun on his face, grounding himself in the present, even as the present threatened to swallow him whole. Then something unexpected happened. The principal, Mara Keswick, arrived late to the assembly, her sharp eyes immediately scanning the scene. She noticed the imbalance, the laughter aimed in a single direction, the way Arvind stood apart like a tree weathering a sudden storm. She did not interrupt right away. Instead, she observed, letting the moment reveal its truth. When roll call ended, she stepped forward, her shadow stretching long across the concrete in the full light of day. Without raising her voice, she asked the students to remain where they were. The courtyard fell into an uneasy silence. The bullies shifted, their confidence dimming slightly. Mara spoke about respect, about how daylight reveals character more clearly than darkness ever could. Then she turned toward Arvind and invited him to step beside her. He did so slowly, unsure, the folder still clutched to his chest like a shield. What followed was not a lecture but a revelation. Mara explained that Arvind Halim was not just a new teacher, but an educator who had once been awarded nationally for innovative teaching methods, someone who had volunteered in underserved communities, someone who had returned to the classroom not for prestige, but because he believed young people deserved patience and understanding. She spoke of his past not as scandal but as survival, as proof of resilience. The sun climbed higher as she spoke, illuminating faces that had moments earlier been twisted with mockery. The students listened, some with crossed arms, others with widening eyes. The bullies at the back felt the heat of attention shift toward them, no longer playful, now piercing. Arvind felt exposed, yet something else stirred within him. For the first time that morning, he lifted his gaze. He saw not enemies but children, flawed and impulsive, much like the students he had once guided with care. He realized this moment, painful as it was, could become something else entirely. Mara ended by asking Arvind to address the assembly. He hesitated, then nodded. He spoke without theatrics, his voice steady but soft, carrying easily in the open air. He talked about fear, about how everyone carries it differently, about how daytime can be a chance to see each other clearly and choose better. He did not scold. He did not accuse. He simply invited them to do better than they had moments before. The effect was immediate and lasting. The laughter did not return. Instead, there was an uncomfortable shifting, a collective reckoning. Some students looked down, others glanced at Arvind with something new in their eyes. The bullies, stripped of their audience and their power, felt the weight of their actions settle in. What had seemed like harmless fun now felt cruel and small under the honest light of day. In the weeks that followed, Arvind's presence at the school transformed quietly. He arrived early, greeting students as they filtered in under the morning sun. He taught with patience, turning lessons into explorations rather than commands. Those who had laughed the loudest found themselves unexpectedly drawn to his classes, surprised by how seen they felt. One of the main instigators, a boy named Kalen Voss, struggled at first, carrying his bravado like armor. But even he could not deny the calm Arvind brought into the room. Daytime became symbolic at the school. Assemblies felt different. Teachers intervened sooner. Students thought twice before mocking what they did not understand. Arvind never mentioned the roll call incident again, but its echo shaped his approach. He believed humiliation could be a teacher, but only if it led to humility and growth. For Arvind, healing did not come all at once. There were still moments when laughter made his heart race, when sudden noises pulled him back into old fears. But each afternoon, as sunlight streamed through classroom windows and students leaned forward with genuine curiosity, he felt something mend. He was no longer just surviving the day. He was shaping it. Months later, during another roll call under the same open sky, Mara watched as Arvind stood confidently among the staff. Students greeted him with respect, some even with smiles of gratitude. The bullies from that first day had changed too, not overnight, but enough to matter. Kalen volunteered for a peer mentorship program. Others followed. Regret had been uncomfortable, but it had also been transformative. Just before the school year ended, a student wrote Arvind a note, leaving it on his desk in the bright midday light. It thanked him for not giving up on them, for showing that strength could be quiet, that dignity did not need to shout. Arvind folded the note carefully, feeling a fullness he had not known in years. If this story has reached something tender inside you, if it reminded you of a time you witnessed cruelty or chose kindness, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with others, and engage with it in any way you can. Your interaction helps spread messages that matter, and it means more than you know. Before the ending, a special request: please comment below and share what kindness means to you, or a moment when someone gave you a second chance. As the final bell rang on a sunlit afternoon, Arvind walked across the courtyard once more. The same space that had witnessed his humiliation now felt reclaimed. Daytime had done what it always does best. It revealed truth. The students who once laughed had learned. The teacher who once doubted had risen. And in the simple, ordinary light of day, everyone carried forward a quiet reminder that regret can become growth, and kindness, once chosen, has a way of changing everything.